Well, again, good morning, everyone. I'm proud to say that Cochise County, Pima County, and the state of Arizona and beyond is a lot safer for the actions of about 150 law enforcement officers, deputies, and agents over last year. A year ago, the Cochise County Sheriff's Office initiated an investigation along with the Department of Public Safety, DEA, the Pima County Sheriff's Department, and many agencies within our respective counties in regard to drug trafficking from the southern border into Arizona and beyond. As a result of this year-long investigation, yesterday was the finale and actually the beginning of a roundup. Yesterday there was 150 officers, deputies, and agents that saturated southern Arizona, initiated 9 search warrants, 16 arrest warrants yesterday. As a result of the investigation, I'll share some numbers with you here. Over this investigation, these are minimum estimates that we have seized: over 28 pounds of meth, over a pound of cocaine, almost 13 pounds of heroin, 600 oxy pills, 10 pounds of marijuana, and a half a pound of fentanyl. Yesterday's roundup also involved a seizing over $367,000 in cash, 34 guns. We arrested 16 people yesterday. We recovered 17 stolen vehicles off one property out of Pima County, and this investigation continues. I'm proud to say, of the efforts by law enforcement throughout the state. Thank you to Governor Ducey for his support as we push forward to make safer communities, and that's what this is all about: keeping drugs out of our communities, keeping drugs out of our schools. And yesterday's effort, the year-long investigation, is a compliment to what's going on here in southern Arizona when it comes to making it safer. And I'm proud to say we've done that over the last year. This investigation is continuing. We're still seeking folks. You see on the pictures to my left of some of the products just from yesterday. We took down some stash houses out of the Pima County area where there were illegals that were guarding stash houses that were being brought in and brought out every 3 days, I think it was, that were guarding these homes with larger quantities of meth and heroin. Again, these are minimum estimates I'm giving you today. We'll have a true, because we're still working it. We're working into the last night, we're working it this morning again, rounding up people, and this is leading into more arrests here in the near future. So at this time, I'm going to turn it over to Sheriff Mark Napier from Pima County.
Thank you, Sheriff Dannels. I think that what really is noteworthy here is we've known for many years that criminals do not know jurisdictional boundaries or international boundaries, and law enforcement has tended to get caught up in that. But this is an example when state law enforcement, county law enforcement, local law enforcement, and federal law enforcement all work together and collect intelligence and investigative resources, tactical resources, operational resources. We can really do some amazing things, and this operation is a clear result of that. To put in perspective, when we talk about pounds of drugs, we kind of become tone deaf to what that means. When we're talking about pounds of methamphetamine, we're talking about pounds of heroin and fentanyl. The scourge that could bring to our communities and the collateral damage, both from a public safety standpoint and a human cost of overdoses and so forth, is staggering. So we kind of become immune to these big numbers, but this is a very serious problem. This is a crisis, and we're addressing it. I'm just so proud to be part of that cooperative team that took down this criminal enterprise and will continue to pursue it relentlessly. This is not over, as Sheriff Dannels points out, but this is a clear example of how when we work together we can really accomplish some amazing things to keep our communities safer, to keep the scourge of drugs out of our community, and this is an ongoing fight. And we have a great cooperative relationship between the sheriffs in our state. I think there's more cooperation and communication between the 15 sheriffs than there ever has been in this state, and that is something that we leverage to the good of public safety throughout the state, because criminals do not know if they're in Pima County or Cochise County or Pinal County or Santa Cruz. They don't care, and we shouldn't either. So we should all work together, and this is a perfect example of great things that can be accomplished when that happens.
Major Johnson?
Yeah, on behalf of DPS, I'd like to echo what both sheriffs said. We are very proud of the unified effort. If you look at the pictures on the wall and you see the impact that we had on the drug organization, it's remarkable. And no one agency could probably pull that off alone. So we have to work together, and I believe that's what is expected of us. And we're happy to do it. We're proud of the communication and the unified effort that we can work together, and we will continue to do that and make Arizona a safer place.
Thank you, John. Attorney General's Office.
I just, on behalf of the Attorney General's Office, just want to thank our law enforcement partners, the Sheriffs of Pima County, Cochise County Sheriff's Department of Public Safety, the Drug Enforcement Administration, Cochise County HIDA. We're proud to support them and thankful for the work that they've done in the case. We will release a statement as we review charges and determine final indictments. But just want to express our support and thanks to our law enforcement partners.
These cases are being vetted through the Arizona Attorney General's Office for prosecution. There's already been indictments on these cases, if I'm not mistaken.
We do not have an indictment yet.
Oh, I thought we
have complaints filed.
Complaints filed, okay. I stand corrected on that. But these cases are going to be sent through the Attorney General's office here. Some of the cases going forward will be sent through our local county attorney's office, and we're working with those offices. At this time, I'll take questions and answers from any of the media. Is there any questions, answers?
How much of this operation was surrounded around Sierra Vista?
It was about 50-50. Yesterday in Cochise County, I can speak, we were in Naco, the Benson area, Sierra Vista, so this side of the county. Teams that assisted yesterday were the Douglas Police Department, Sierra Vista Police Department, Sheriff's Office, DPS, DEA, Border Patrol. Am I missing anybody? Pima County Sheriff's Department up north, Tucson PD. We had 7 tactical teams in place yesterday, SWAT teams, 3 helicopters in support. So it was a long day yesterday, but it's very successful, and the message is clear.
What's noteworthy, too, is that because we combined intelligence and tactical resources, these warrants were served and these bad actors were taken into custody without injury, without any critical events happening, which is a testament to good planning, good operational and tactical coordination between the agencies, which is absolutely priceless.
And to add to that, it was done near simultaneously,
Yes.
which is difficult to pull off an operation of that magnitude.
So I'm sorry if I missed it. So this was one organization that was just spanned out in all these counties?
Yes, and beyond, and beyond. Took it all the way into Phoenix and beyond there. So it was a year-long investigation that, I mean, the collective nature of law enforcement, our Attorney General's office, our DEA, Border Patrol, because this originated through the borders. So again, very positive.
The thing that Sheriff Dannels and I often will say is that if we can stop it in our backyard, people don't die in other people's front yard. And what we mean is a lot of this methamphetamine, a lot of these drugs are coming through here and going all over the country. So when I talk to sheriffs back east and they say we have an overdose problem, people are dying in our communities, we'll say, if you help us stop it in our backyard, people won't die in your front yard. So if we can interdict it here at the border, and that's where the resources really need to be with the county sheriffs here on the border, coordinating with our federal, state, and local partners. If we can interdict it here, we have a national impact, because we can rightly assume that a lot of those drugs were not destined for just local consumption. They were going all over the country. So what we did here in this operation is have a national impact on public safety throughout the country.
There's names that we won't be releasing today due to the fact is we're still searching for them. And we'll be out, they're out this morning, and we're going to continue for this roundup. So.
The ones on the wall, did you say you're still searching for those? Or
They're in custody. They're in custody. They were picked up yesterday.
And just to be clear, you said 16 arrest warrants. Was that 16 arrests for your total so far?
So far, yes.
Okay.
So far. Any other questions? Again, thank you. Thank you for helping us share the message in our communities, our schools. And it's all about, and that's what it's all, we take an oath of office to secure our communities, our state, and beyond. And I'm very proud. I really am. I think we got something special here in Arizona when it comes to law enforcement and the criminal justice system, and that is doing what's right, doing what's legal, and putting the bad guy in jail when it's deserved by what we see today.
I'm sorry, any problems when you were making these arrests, when everything was going down, anything to officers? Was it Did it go very smoothly? Can you tell us basically about the operation?
Overall, went very smoothly. Compared to what we were addressing, that's why we used the high risk, the officers and the agents and the deputies. We knew some of the areas we were hitting was vulnerable. Yesterday up in the Benson area, we did have one person run from us. We ended up taking him down with a helicopter and a K9 and found him hiding in a wash. He's now in custody. So.
Again, getting back to the coordination, that was vital to the success of this. You said it's been over a year, but all these different agencies came together and worked together. Because sometimes you hear, agencies don't always get along or try to get the glory. This seems like it was one massive collection of officers.
It was a shared mission, multi-badge mission, and we all work so well together. It's very collective in that fact, and we all want to put people that are swinging dope in our communities and our schools. We want to put them in jail. And everybody should see that, and we want to stop drugs from coming in our communities, and we all agreed, and that's why we're going forward together.
And Sheriff Dannels and myself communicate almost on a daily basis, which I don't think has happened previously between the sheriffs, this level of communication. And I think we all agree that when we all stand together, all of us stand tall. It's not about any one of us. We're committed to public safety in our respective communities, but it's not about glory, it's about doing the right thing for safety in our communities.
What initiated the investigation into this organization?
I will sum up the word intelligence, and which led into the investigations. And this came through our Cochise County Sheriff's Office Street Crimes Unit. That
Sierra Vista?
Here in Sierra Vista. That their job is to work street crimes, local crime drugs. We brought in our partners to do the complexity of it, brought in the Attorney General's office, and you see today where we're at.
What would you say to the public about doing their part, about seeing things, reporting things that could help start investigations?
Well, I'm a firm believer that, if you see something, say something, but also starts in the local communities. These are our communities, and we have an obligation as citizens in our communities to take care of them, protect them, and keep them safe. And that starts with the citizens that we work for. So if you see something, something's not right, call law enforcement. I mean, I'm so proud of Arizona law enforcement, and we got a government that supports us. I'm proud of that. And look where this took us. A local initiative that came forward, and look where we're at today with pounds and pounds of illicit drugs off the streets and people that have been selling dope in our streets. And you can see the magnification of this. I mean, between 17 stolen cars, all the weapons here. We had a stolen backhoe we recovered yesterday on one of the search warrants. When you look at the magnification of what this is all about, I mean, there's nothing good in a community that comes out when people are doing this kind of behavior.
Any estimate on the number of officers involved?
I know we were over 150. And you say, well, that's a lot of resources. But what do you put a price on public safety? I don't.
You talked about the scale of the organization and its reach up into the central area of the state. Does any of that organization have ties across the border?
Yes.
We certainly know that methamphetamine is not being cooked locally. It's coming up, and same with fentanyl and heroin. We know those drugs are not originating from poppy fields in Cochise County. So we know that these drugs are coming up from the border. And as the President has correctly pointed out, this is a public safety crisis. And it is originating because of our porous southern border, which is a clear and present challenge to public safety.
But don't they say, latest statistics, that 90% of those drugs come through the actual port through trucks and stuff? That Border Patrol's down by 20,000 agents. Should we be looking at increasing the technology right there on the border where the trucks and stuff come through to help reduce this amount of drugs coming through?
The ports of entry are a challenge. We have to rely on transnational commerce, legitimate transnational commerce for our economy. But at the same time, you have to interdict illicit commerce, which is drug trafficking, human trafficking, and so forth, coming through the ports of entry. So we do need to shore up technology. But along with that, our physical barriers, technology, and additional human resources. It is a blend of all those things that will solve this problem.
Any more questions?
You guys working at all with the Mexican authorities?
No.